Hey, I'm Rob.
And I'm Mike.
And we're just two normal lads exploring the mysterious, the controversial, and the conspiratorial.
Join us each week down the rabbit hole for our latest exciting discussions, ideas, and tinfoil banter.
Tinfoil Banter. Serious questions, questionable conclusions.
Okay, so welcome to episode 10 of the Tinfoil Banter podcast. And today we're talking about the Bermuda Triangle. Now, the Bermuda Triangle is a region in the North Atlantic Ocean covering around 500,000 square miles. And it roughly forms a triangle, obviously, between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. Around 75 aircraft and hundreds of ships have reportedly disappeared in or around the Bermuda Triangle over the past 500 years, and estimates say about 1,000 people have died with very little wreckage and no bodies ever being found. What do you know about the Bermuda Triangle?
Well, I had a joke about the Bermuda Triangle, but it disappeared.
Yeah,
no, other than that, I was just kind of reading some stories about it. Like, okay, all these people disappeared. What do we know about that stuff? The earliest one, I think, is like 500 BC.
Oh, wow.
The guy called Himilco. He's like a Phoenician sailor, like seafarer. Quite famous, apparently, if you're into your Phoenician seafarers.
Some people are, obviously.
But yeah, he reported that he saw sea monsters around that sort of region, estimated at least. So
yeah, what was he doing that far out? If he's Phoenician.
Yeah, you're right, because Phoenician's like modern day Lebanon, right?
Yeah, it's North Africa.
So,
sort of
it's quite a journey to go on, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Modern day Lebanon, sailor searching.
Oh, you having a look? Yeah.
Yeah, this is my research.
Yeah, let's go. Do it.
Yeah, he was well out if he was over in the Gulf of Mexico, aka the Gulf of America.
Whoa.
Starting hot already.
1,000 years later,
Christopher
Columbus, very well known. Everyone knows who he is. He was going through with 3 ships. They are Mike.
I don't know his 3 ships.
I think
is one the Golden Hind?
No, it's the Mia, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
I'm thinking of James Cook, maybe.
Oh, maybe. But anyways, the Santa Maria is the one in this story. Basically, they were heading to that part of the country, world, and they thought they hit land. They're like celebrating, yay! This is great because they basically had to get loads of stuff. We're going to go sell, right? Happy days. We're going to make loads of money. And it turns out they weren't even actually anywhere near it. They were stuck in one of the corners of the Bermuda Triangle in like loads and loads of seaweed, like a bush of seaweed.
Kelp.
Yeah, just absolutely stuck. Apparently, it's kelp. Kelp. And they're stuck in this seaweed, and they haven't really got that much water, like drinkable water, because they plan just to go over, do their thing, come back. And they're there for hours, and they're like getting really worried at this point. And then he reports seeing a disc-shaped object with very bright lights underneath the sea that basically comes out of the sea, floats into space, and hovers there.
Yeah.
And hang around there for a little while, and then 5 hours later, they were like kind of released from and managed to make it to land and on to tell a story. And we know this because he actually wrote that in his diaries, that story. So that's his.
I love that.
Maybe he was hallucinating.
We've got Bermuda Triangle and aliens.
Straight away.
I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
Yeah. But maybe he, was just, maybe he was like dehydrated or seeing like, could have been ball lightning or something. I don't know, but it's quite a cool story because I was like, okay, aliens then. Okay.
Aliens.
Yeah.
And I have to. This Bermuda Triangle has fallen out of favor as a conspiracy theory, but as a kid in the 90s, you would hear about it a lot.
Yeah, and before that too. I think it's kind of dying out in the 90s actually, but like it was a very popular thing that was spoken about. There's like a famous book written by someone, I can't remember who it was now, and then another book that was written to disprove that, which we'll talk about later, I think.
Charles Berlitz. I think you might be talking about Charles Berlitz. Is that the 1973 one?
I think so, yeah. So he wrote a book basically like fantasizing that the Bermuda Triangle is a portal to another dimension and all sorts of crazy stuff, I think. So you can understand why people kind of liked that at the time, but kind of were like, oh yeah, whatever. But there's still a lot of unexplained stuff there. The Mary Celeste, I didn't realize the Mary Celeste was found in the Bermuda Triangle, and they reported boarding it, and that it was like they just disappeared, like beds, they got them out of hot meals on the table, and that they boarded up one of the like rooms. I think it was like the cabin, the main cabin.
Oh, okay.
They boarded it up, like either trapping someone inside or can't trapping them inside because they went in there, right? So very strange stuff there.
That could be a podcast in itself.
The Mary Celeste, there's a lot going on with that, right?
It's more of a mystery than a conspiracy theory, though, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff it crosses both the lines, and I've almost stopped trying to worry about the definition because I just find it all exciting and fun to talk about. And again, there's never any harm in that. So, Flight 19, we're getting a bit more forward in time now. 1945. Okay. Flight 19 was like 5 very experienced U.S. Navy torpedo bombers, and they just gone on routine exercise. They reported good weather, and then suddenly their leader, Charles Taylor, reported like being lost and saying everything looked wrong, that their compasses were failing. He said they couldn't be sure of the direction. We're short on fuel. And then the last message was all planes starting up. If one runs out of fuel, we all go down together.
That's one I've looked into because I looked into Charles Berlitz, and then I found on YouTube. It's quite a rare video. Well, not that it's on YouTube, but the footage they got it from was from an old Betamax, and they put it online. It's the video of Flight 19 documentary done by Charles Berlitz himself.
Oh, okay.
It's quite hyped up and dramatized, but it was pretty good. One of the things that popped out to me was there was a Corporal Alan Kasnar who said he didn't want to go on the flight. And they couldn't figure out, according to this documentary by the guy who wrote the book, who actually took his place on the flight, because they did a muster when they figured out that flight was missing. They did a muster, and everyone was present. But who was on that flight that took the place of Corporal Alan Kasnar, and what did he do with them? That's the way they were spinning it. Like there was an alien on board or another entity on board that led them astray. To be fair, though, they did then launch one of the biggest sea sort of search and rescue missions.
At the time,
then during that mission to save them, they lost an aircraft.
So what you're saying was this plane went out to search for wreckages and people for the Flight 19, and they got lost as well.
They also disappeared.
It disappeared completely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's pretty trippy. Yeah. So lots and lots. You said 1,000, didn't you, at the beginning of the episode? You said about 1,000 bodies in total. There was I think the biggest one is probably the USS Cyclops. Have you heard of that one?
No.
It's like 1918, I think. So kind of more recent time, and it's like a massive, U.S. Navy ship. It's had like 300 people on board. It's quite large,
So in the 1918.
Yeah, so it's like basically no distress call was ever sent, no wreckage was ever found, no bodies or lifeboats were ever found, and no one ever claimed responsibility or anything like that in terms of like war or anything like that.
Yeah. The war, World War One would have just ended. It would depend on when the date was.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the largest non-combat loss of life in U.S. naval history. 306 people died or disappeared, or they're in another dimension.
Time warp. That's one of Charles Berlitz's ideas for it. Is it? It's a time tunnel, warp hole.
Yeah, exactly that. In fact, there's quite a lot of fun conspiracy people around that have kind of like gained a lot of popularity around the subject.
Amongst stoners.
Yeah, basically. No, I think a lot of people were trying to like just understand what could be special about that area, but there was a lot of people like putting things forward, like things called vile vortices. So a guy called Ivan Sanders, he said there's these things called vile vortices, which are essentially warm and cold air interacting with the ocean's currents, creating a magnetic force, and it weakens gravity. And then he claimed that if these vortices spun fast enough, they could create torsion fields. And those torsion fields supposedly open up portals through space and time. And obviously that's kind of regarded as like pseudoscience, but that's the theory, right? So that's kind of now linking into the Bermuda Triangle physically being able to recreate the situation where a time portal is.
Yeah, I mean, isn't all science pseudoscience until it's proven real or fake?
That's true, right? Like, and
a thread that seems to be similar through all of them is compass malfunctions. As he's not happy being out there alone.
he's just howling at something. He's all right. Yeah, I think there's like something electromagnetic going on there for sure. But I think that might also be somewhat explainable, right? Maybe that is a thing, you know, but I don't necessarily know why that results in people disappearing completely.
Sharks,
animals, but it's a lot of stuff and a lot of like wreckage.
Yeah, but have you seen Jaws? They pulled out all sorts from the belly of the white shark. Of all sharks, they eat everything. I don't think they could eat. Yeah, it's not going to be white sharks.
That makes me sharks, mate.
Yeah, they can't eat a whole PB5 Mariner, wherever it was.
So one of the explanations I was reading about was these things called blue holes. Apparently they're like holes on the seabed ocean, like sinkholes that open up and like suck and blow. And so maybe they could have like moved this stuff by sucking and blowing it, or maybe it's like down there because they go hundreds of feet.
Okay.
Like, there's one in Florida that's like 425 feet deep. It's like massive. So and they've got little interacting like cave systems and stuff as well. So there could be like stuff trapped down there. And so maybe there's some of these because it's a deep part of the Atlantic Ocean, right? So maybe there's something like that's happened, which I find interesting in terms of where the wreckage has gone. Ever been sucked by a blue hole, Mike?
I'm sure many a seaman has been sucked by a blue hole down in the Bermuda Triangle, but it's definitely plausible, especially if nothing ever gets found.
Yeah, I think that's the trippiest bit for me is why people find it creepy that
there was what we were discussing over the weekend about this not being a particularly special piece of ground because it's a sea. That's why it's not a special.
Yeah, there was that study where all of the sea deaths around the world were shown, and really the Bermuda Triangle wasn't anything special. Like, no. Yeah, no. You're right.
And I was looking up why it isn't, and it popped up saying that Lloyd's of London, one of the biggest insurance companies, they won't charge you an extra premium just for going through the Bermuda Triangle. Now, if anyone was gonna charge you more money for it,
the banks
would be an insurance company, and they don't.
Oh, I love that. That's brilliant. Yeah, I guess sometimes that's a really good angle for it. I do think also there's probably just some explanations, and maybe it's a multitude of different reasons, right?
What's causing their instruments to go haywire? Is it something magnetic? Like we discussed already. It's something magnetic making their compasses go
crazy.
Mad. But then why can't you replicate it over and over and over again?
Yeah, I mean, there's a load of like stuff I've got here, and I don't know how that really reacts with electromagnetism per se, because none of this really references it, so I can't find the connection. But in terms of explanations as to why these aerial and sea-bearing vehicles could be wiped out, and some being massive, bear in mind, right? There's these things called like methane eruptions. So they're like gas releases from the seabed, and they're just massive sea farts. And apparently these can like literally pop a hole in a big boat, like in a big ship. So that's quite an interesting one. But I think the ones that really kind of convinced me were the rogue freak waves. So apparently there's the possibility of these 100-foot waves to just happen in the middle of the sea. And it was only in 1997 when anyone first actually saw one in real life, like, and it exceeded 100 feet. And they're wondering if these just pop up in that region where it's like kind of tumultuous anyway, and just wipe out these boats, maybe even a low
flying aircraft
chopper like that one fly aircraft like that one you just showed us. And then combined with that, the aerial stuff, just to add, there's this thing called clear air turbulence. Apparently that's like turbulence as you know it, but it's like really warm and hot pockets of air, and it means that the wind like either stops, changes direction, or speeds up really quickly in a certain space, which means suddenly a plane, if that got caught in that, would just get completely wiped out and potentially dragged down like hundreds of feet,
Wow.
which could cause crafts to then not be able to recover, and especially way back then. You don't haven't. When was the last time you heard of something disappearing in the Bermuda Triangle though? Because I don't really remember one in my lifetime. I don't think.
None, but I don't subscribe to like Bermuda Triangle Weekly, so I probably wouldn't do.
Oh mate, you need to, because
You
that bit on
obviously do.
gardening is fantastic.
No,
Yeah.
none in recent decades, but that isn't surprising. The news is pushing a different agenda at the moment.
I did Google the Bermuda Triangle, and I noticed that TripAdvisor gives it 1 star.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, it's a fantastic destination, but there's really shitty returns policy. What do you think about it in general? Then, so you're pretty unconvinced that it's anything based on what we were saying. You think it's pretty much a no
No,
go.
I think it's a thing. I think it's a thing.
So you
I
think there's
mean,
more going on than we realize there?
yes. Okay, so the instances and the amount of ships and aircraft being lost there isn't extremely or particularly high. In fact, it's less. Well, I watched another statistic video on it, and it's actually less than just normal ocean sort of around the world. But the fact that nothing ever turns up
Makes
is
them
rare.
numbers.
Yeah.
So
Now
do you
there are
think?
wrecks and stuff there, but you would find the detritus, the flotsam and jetsam, the gubbins of what
Gubbins.
got left or lost.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
gubs.
that's definitely the thing. So okay. So having discussed all of the like scientific things, if it's not any of those, like blue holes or methane eruptions or rogue waves or clear air turbulence, what do you think it could be?
Something to do with the magnetic field. I'm going back to that again. That's what I think
Okay.
it could be. And it's got to be a freak rare occurrence of some different variables coming together, and that's what's causing it.
I think
But
that makes
then
sense.
again, that sinks them. It doesn't explain why everything disappears.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what
Unless
stuff.
unless you believe that's causing a portal to another dimension.
Unless it's time travel, or it's just sucking them away. I mean,
What about
there's the underwater alien base, but that's a
what about Columbus's experience with this coming out of the water? Like, what's
there,
that?
there we go.
That's nothing to
Under
do with someone getting taken down. That's something coming out of the sea. And what if there's something down there that connects our planet to another world?
Well, I believe that there is an underwater alien base,
Yeah,
and that I don't know if it's there, or maybe it might have been there, but it's moved. So back when Columbus was doing his around the world in 80 days thing,
yeah,
maybe that's where the underground alien base was.
yeah. So going back to the aliens, because we obviously that's like not 10 episodes ago now. Um, when we originally discussed that, one of the things we pointed out was like that
I know,
UAPs
and
are
in an
UAPs.
intro we say that we're not conspiracy theorists. That I've just said that yeah, I believe there's an alien
But this
base
is the
underwater.
beauty of it. Is I think everyone is on the spectrum of conspiracy theories, whether they like it or not. You are either involved in the actual existing conspiracies that are happening around us every day, and you just don't know it yet. You either are aware of the actual conspiracies that did happen throughout history, and you can go read about. And you can also be interested in the ones that haven't been proven and are a bit wacky, because it doesn't hurt to start being open-minded when you already know conspiracy theories exist. So
Yeah.
everyone should be on the spectrum, whether they know it or not, or whether they like it or not. We just happen to be on the far left, or far right, or whatever way you want to swing that. I'm not gonna, no judgment.
Yeah. So I would feel safe flying and sailing across the Bermuda Triangle, though in 1994, when I was on my way to Mallorca, I did have that thought in the back of my head. I didn't know where Bermuda was.
So
I didn't know where Mallorca was, and
yeah,
I was
right.
still worried.
Could have happened.
Could have happened.
Well, I'm glad it didn't, Mike. I'm glad you're here to do these crazy podcasts with me.
Me too.
I personally, actually, I'm the other side this time, which is rare. I actually think this is just weather, bad timing. I think maybe electromagnetism feeds into that as well. But I was quite convinced by the blue holes theory. I think there's a lot of the ocean we haven't explored. I think you have to bear in mind it's 500,000 square mile, like you said. That's a ridiculous amount of space. And furthermore, a topic what I'm sure we'll talk about in future, which is the Malaysian flight that we're missing, because we can do a podcast on that alone, because that one's really trippy. It's very hard to find a needle in a haystack, especially if that needle crashed in 1908, right? So I actually feel like if you really add it up, it kind of does make sense. So yeah, that's
How are you the voice of reason on this one?
yeah. I don't know. I feel a bit unwell, as you can tell from my voice. Maybe I'm. Actually, I don't want to do this podcast anymore. Can we?
Yeah, it feels weird.
Yeah. Anyway, let's on that weird juxtaposition. Why don't we wrap up there? I think that was a solid swing at Bermuda Triangle, but you know,
Yeah, it's tailed off in the public conscience for a while. So
yeah, but you know, always keep your mind open anyway. You know,
I am. Mine's
not you, but
more
just
open than
anyone
yours
listening.
right now. Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, they're listening to us.
Yeah. I also think it's always one of those ones that might pop back up. You know, in a few months' time, there might be something that goes missing in that area, and then suddenly this becomes like a hot topic again.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for the next thing to happen. That's why I found it really interesting. The first occurrence happened 500 BC, because that's so long ago, and we're still talking about it now. So
Wasn't
we
there a
might
tie to?
be,
I think I remember now. Wasn't there a tie to Atlantis?
there is a tie to Atlantis. There is a theory that the crystal that was like powering Atlantis, right?
Uh-huh.
Because these guys are apparently like
Shit, why didn't you open with this?
no, we this is only for the people that stick around. So Atlantis was allegedly powered by this big crystal, and God basically was like, "No, you guys are going a bit above your station. You're like too almighty, basically, because they're up to some shady stuff as well as
Okay.
being like super powerful compared to the rest of the human race." So God sort of smites them, flood. See it. And anyway, the Bimini Road is supposed to be the high street of Atlantis, and it exists and it tails in from Florida into the Bermuda Triangle. And there's
Bermuda Road.
no, it's called Bimini Road,
Bimini
which
Road.
is supposed to be allegedly the high street of Atlantis. And
I think it's weird that they had a high street.
yeah, we will do it. We could do a segment on Atlantis. It's definitely on the list. But
Okay.
the long and short of it is, this guy claims that he was like diving in that area. He found a pyramid. He entered the pyramid. It was like found this crystal in a pair of hands with like a rod coming down. It was all like burned out in there. This is what he claims.
Uh-huh.
He takes the crystal. He keeps it a secret for years. And then your mate that you were mentioning earlier releases his book. And he's like, suddenly he tells everyone about this crystal. And then claims it is what it is. So there's no real proof around him actually claiming it. This is just a story. But that is leads to part of the conspiracy, that there is something more powerful going down there than we realize.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fair. We'll have to do one on Atlantis then.
Yeah. Atlantis
Bimini Road. There's definitely going to be a Greg's on Bimini Road.
Great. What you reckon?
Yeah. Every
Starbucks.
high street has a Greg's. Starbucks.
Yeah.
A charity shop and a kebab house and a
The
bookie.
chariot shop. Because it's a long time ago.
Oh, puns.
Anyway, love you, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.